Thank you so much, Krishna, for joining us.
Thank you.
So Couchbase is a very popular firm outside India, but we want to know more about what's happening here, right? Couchbase is a NASDAQ-listed firm. You're sitting on a market cap of 800 million. So tell us your India market. So throw some light on what you're doing in India, your customers.
Sure. Firstly, it's a privilege, sharing the same stage as what we just happened to witness.
Truly.
So I'm still reeling from that session. It was pretty loaded. That said, I'll try to do justice from what I can. So from a India presence as far as Couchbase is concerned, so more than 35% of Couchbase's global workforce is based in India, primarily working on the engineering and the support functions. And that said, our India field go-to-market efforts started just after our IPO in 21, and that is where we are a relatively new entrant into India that way in this interesting market and interesting times. And the other thing I would like to call out is in terms of while it's just been over a year and we are kind of while yes, some of us have been in the industry working for Couchbase now, but that said, the journey and what we are seeing with our customers, thanks to the way the technology is architected, the way it is built. The sweet spot is because just some time back, right, Sir spoke about on one hand, the dichotomy, right, opportunities, challenges. So your legacy tends to hold you back from the opportunities that you want to go after, right? I think the sweet spot with a technology like Couchbase is the ability to blend in terms of, the technology landscape that you already have. And given that we come from an open source world, our approach is also to look at, it's just not paying lip service to a problem-solving approach, but we genuinely, that's the way we engage with our customers, right? We take a very problem-solving kind of an approach, one step at a time, right? And then go about the journey completely involved. Yep. So, and I'll share some interesting stories with you a little later. Yeah.
Please go ahead.
So, in terms of, I'll just try to build on the previous conversation that we had in terms of when it comes to opportunities, right? And at the same time, challenges holding you back. So as far as the tech part is concerned, I'll try to stay away from getting deep into tech, but the premise of Couchbase, right, is today, if you look at the world of data, and today you're all reading, and of course it's a fact that data is the new oil. And the importance that one needs to go about a data management strategy or going about a data platform strategy is extremely important and critical, right? And more so than ever before now, again, we have AI coming in, right? So with all this happening around, I would probably take a few use cases today where we have been able to play a role in an ecosystem where there are already people, or I mean to say there are already technologies which are present, but at the same time, in terms of how we can blend in. So one example that I can talk about is that of LinkedIn, right? Most of us here, I'm sure, use LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So what Couchbase, while I will get into some fintech examples too, but that said, LinkedIn is a cross-industry example and something that people can easily relate. So now, as far as LinkedIn is concerned, I think they have close to about 800 million plus users. So while they have, a data management system, Couchbase is actually looking at primarily powering the what is called as a caching layer. So caching is again something that came into prevalence in the last 1 decade or so to primarily boost application performance. Basically, when it comes to real time, where it has to be like in milliseconds, right? So the personalization, the profiling bit today, when it comes to when you update your feeds on LinkedIn, right? That particular entire session management profiling data is managed by Couchbase. And then few examples from the world of, I would say, financial services. FICO, which is also Fair Isaac. So they have a platform called as Falcon, so which is basically a fraud detection, risk and fraud detection kind of a platform, right? So the key thing here is for this platform to run or to be powered, it needs to kind of, deal in, a millisecond response time. So especially when you're swiping a credit card, right, it should be able to detect if there's any potential fraud. And FICO, with this particular platform, we're given to understand, like, they have a market share of more than 60%. So I'm happy to share that a platform like Falcon is again powered by Couchbase as far as their fraud and risk analytics go, right? And from an Indian context, right, we are fairly new, but we have kind of seen few customers who have kind of given us that opportunity and embraced the idea of, how Couchbase can play a role. While I can't take the name of this particular customer, but they're one of the leading NBFCs, part of a large conglomerate house. So this initiative was around, customer 360. Today we all talk about, when it comes to embracing new opportunities, customer experience plays a very important role. And as far as your data goes today, and I'm sure you will be dealing with this thing that data is all over the place. There's a sprawl of data stored in different systems. So there is an initiative few companies are running today about, building the golden record for a customer or a consumer, right? So that mostly gets, people relate that to as a customer 360 initiative. So, and this was particularly an effort where they had to augment 7 different business units, bring data from different systems so that they're able to offer one interface to a customer, right? So it can be looked upon as a super app. So that's again, we had the opportunity to work with them and, serve them, right? So that's again a scenario where you can look at Couchbase. Yeah.
Wonderful. I think going into fintechs, right? 2025 is going to be the year for many of them to scale, but that too in a cost-efficient manner, right?
Yeah.
How can platforms like Couchbase come in here? What kind of synergies will they create? Can they address these two important factors?
Sure, absolutely. So what I'm going to share now may sound very basic, but you can't shy away from basics. So one of the key advantages of the way Couchbase is built than just as a database product is actually as a platform. So, and you can, and one of the main highlights is the modularity. So you can use Couchbase while it's a distributed high performance platform, but for very specific use cases, right? So thereby you don't have to, if you're looking at some initiatives, right? Let's say caching as one of the examples, you don't have to rip and replace your existing database systems which are there. We can potentially play a role, and some of the use cases that we have is just that, where instead of ripping and replacing, which will again hold you back, many a times people, then again tend to kind of, that becomes a big bottleneck, right? So we can actually kind of do an incremental thing in terms of, in this case, it could be about building a caching layer. The other thing is, in terms of the design principles that we have gone about, so we use something called as SQL++, which is one of the most, so SQL as a query language in the world of databases, more than 60% of the customers today are familiar with SQL as a query language. So we use SQL as a programming language. So there's not much of a reskilling that one needs to do when they look at Couchbase. So this is just again one example where from a total cost of ownership standpoint, you don't have to again go for reskilling and skilling, right? Is again a very, very important aspect today. That is holding up a lot of companies today when on one hand you have to build new applications, and Sir was talking about SaaS, right? Eventually it's about builders. So at the end of the day, we believe in doing things, which is very pro builder, or I mean to say developers. So this is one of those, yeah.
Wonderful. I think we have last 1 minute or so. Can't be without asking you this. What about AI? Because now every fintech wants to innovate in AI, but what innovation did you come across recently within fintechs that's really exciting for you? And how's Couchbase powering that?
Yeah, sure. So I'll just take a step back. See, when it comes to AI, the thing today is people are looking at, again, first of all, there's a data sprawl, right? Different applications are powered by different database systems today. So, and when it comes to AI, and one of the key things about AI is what we call as unstructured data in the world of technology, right? Which is, akin to text data. So you need databases today, you need systems today which can actually deal with large quantums of data on one hand, right? So it's just not about the ability to what you do with the data, but something that can hold and process it at like amazing speeds, right? We are talking about sub-millisecond kind of performance. So there's scale, there's speed. So as far as Couchbase is concerned, as a platform, we are built for that. And then the other thing is, if you are on the Couchbase as a platform, so you don't have to again make new investments. For example, when we are talking about buzzwords like today, RAG or vectorization, so people, on one hand, the market has new entrants, right? Again, purpose-built databases. So we are saying if, you're on Couchbase, so the data format for Couchbase is something called JSON, which is one of the most preferred data formats today for the world of AI, right? So we are a JSON-built data store. So it becomes very easy for people to basically build on that without having to invest in new technologies. And then from a developer standpoint, we have again brought in the agentic AI aspect. So when it comes to building applications, so from a database perspective, at least we are making sure from a time to market perspective, they don't have to go about relearning, and this particular agentic AI aspect, what we call as Capella AI services, aids in making programming or development much faster. Yeah.
Wonderful. I think we've come to the end of this session, but beautifully summed up how not just having rich data, but also a solid database management system and data management resources needs to be there in place in order to win the game, right? Thank you so much, Krishna, for the insights.
Thank you. Thank you.